but you kind of have to back that up with some plan to get into the site. There's so many angles, especially on the A site. They didn't clear any of them effectively. I think what now? They play 7 rounds here, and then probably 15 rounds the other day. So in all of those rounds, they might have done it twice, correct?
We've also seen this trend that if on the T side, the other team goes on a streak, they never break the money and then come back into the game. You know, actually, they just give up on that point. They're front runners completely. Like, they've won some games big, and they've had games where it was working out, and they held on. They don't come back, and that just tells me that when they're on the T side and things stop working, they just stick with what they're doing. You know, they don't change it up at all. They don't have any second gear, plan B, and all these things.
On the positive side, Penta, of course, having come through this, they also have the MVP as well. HS having a fantastic game on this one. 24 for 13, 3 more assists, at ADR of 112.09. Great takes. Great stats from him as well, as 7 retakes and 3 trade kills. So great performance all around from him.
And yeah, another real unknown player that's actually getting a chance to perform. And actually, that's the cool thing about the fact that you can get teams. Obviously, they didn't make it of an Envious and a NIP type caliber in the minor. Is that normally if you do really well at the minor, people just say, yeah, but who cares? It's tier 3 opposite. These teams, in theory, play at the big lands. They actually are veterans, So now we have something to gauge his performance against you. We don't actually have to wait until the qualifier to say, hey, there's something there. He's becoming a player that's useful. Because the key for me is most games he hasn't been anywhere close to that level of fragging, but the kills he does get look really good. So there's clearly something going on there, and they've kind of found someone that's like free money found, because you don't expect that to be the good player in your team. So if he can perform, that's like why they're a team now. Yeah,
I was going to say, you don't see it, you get a bit of luck in your fantasy team as well.
Exactly, yeah. I tend to get a bit of luck. My fantasies tend to come true, Matt.
Your fantasy team is.
That's all I'm going to tell you.
Your fantasy team is insane this time.
Bubble baths with Sanokist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got Tabson in there, you got HS in there.
Yeah. Listen, mate, you'll be blowing bubbles the whole time. I don't even have any soap.
Save me.
Right, I will save you, Matt, by bringing in Sonny, one of our man of the match of that particular matchup. Penta are through to the offline finals. Congratulations, Sonny.
Thank you.
And how was that for you?
It was nice. Actually, we played 2 of their really good maps, but we just wanted to do it instead of gambling some of our weaker maps, because we felt that we are actually playing much better than them here after their sloppy group states. And I think the second map, Inferno, we choked a lot, in terms of communication. For example, the one round, I don't know if the observer showed it, but I was standing middle of arch, smoke in hand, and my teammate forgot to say that they can go top middle.
Right.
So stuff like this.
So Inferno was a bit messy today. Why was that?
I don't know. It felt that because we lost both pistols in Kabul and we still won it pretty easily. That sometimes young players have the mindset towards next map that especially if it's our pick that it's gonna be easier than expected, and then we forget the details. I don't know. It was just the major qual was too close, I guess.
Yeah. A good impressive performance on Cash though. That must make you guys happy.
Yeah, we are happy.
Yeah, and through to the offline finals as well. So what is it about this team that you're enjoying playing amongst? Because we talked about the fact that you come from this Finnish scene where it's a bit toxic sometimes, frankly, and you weren't able to break out of it. Now you're out of that and you're in an international team. Talk to me about how good that feels.
It feels really good, and I think the key thing in our team is that because we are obviously everyone from different country, that we are here only to make forward. I mean, go forward, and we don't focus anything else, and then winning. Everyone in our team can point out the mistakes, what someone else is doing, and no one is taking it bad way. We all only focus that we're going forward. Right. So I think it's really good, and we have really good team chemistry outside the game as well.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. I've got Thorin and Matt here as well. They're going to give you a question, but I'd also want to talk to you about HS. Where's this guy come from?
Yeah, he's pretty nuts. I think it's.
He's pretty nuts.
Yeah, for him it's only a matter of time when he reaches his potential. Sometimes in practice, dropping 30 or 40 bombs against really good teams.
Wow.
And I think it's only that he needs to get on the comfort zone and so on, because he don't have much experience compared to some of our players. And he's pretty nuts when he
is pretty nuts. I also have to compliment you as well. There was a round, I think it was round 11. Where you were about to go into the B-bomb site and you threw a smoke and it was a bit of a sloppy smoke and it left a gap and you were kind of now I can't plant. And then you decide, actually, instead of trying to plant safe, you push and you pick up the kill on Happy, then you kind of dupe Scream into kind of planting at A and then making him rotate, and then you push him in mid. Brilliant play. What goes through your head when you're doing that, making those decisions?
I knew that Happy was super low when I shoot him before in the highway, and when I saw the legs in the city spawn and he didn't peek, I was pretty sure that it's happy, and I decided to go for a duel because I knew that he will die for only one bullet.
Right.
And since I didn't hear any steps, I just stood there because it was pretty much Scream who had to make the decision what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he made the steps, but then I knew what's gonna happen, and I pretty much knew that if he's gonna come from CT, then I'm just gonna hear him if he goes to side.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty smart. It was good to watch, and yeah, good. Soren, got any questions for Sonny?
Yeah, so normally when underdogs beat like a big name, I mean, some of these guys have won majors, you know, been in the best teams in the world. Normally, if you're an underdog, you want to believe, I beat them at their best, you know, like they're a top-class team. What did you actually think of Envious so far at this qualifier? Like, what were they like in this game?
Of course, they were favorites, but I think it helps us in that way because we still have played only 2 tournaments before, and the pressure is on them, obviously. And since after the sloppy group stages, we just felt that if we're just gonna play our game and not do silly mistakes, we're gonna beat them. So it wasn't that it's honor or something, and we didn't give them any respect in this way.
No further questions, Your Honor. I rest my case.
Okay.
Matt's very happy with your performance, I think, today. So no ribbing from him. We'll let you go, and congrats. Now it's all about the money now.
Yep.
So can you take the whole thing?
Yes, we can. And
Okay.
I actually hope that we will meet Beak later today because they're a good matchup for us.
Yeah,
and we
they've
know
been a
them.
good rival for you
Yeah.
guys as well, haven't they?
Yeah, we want to play against them.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll let you go. Thank you very much for joining us, Sonny.
Bye-bye.
Congrats to Penta. They are through to the upper bracket final, but more importantly for them, they are through to the offline final qualifier for the Krakow Major. That will sound so good to them right now. There are 2 more spots up for grabs, 3 teams left in the mix, and we'll be moving on to our next team very shortly. Let's wrap things up on that note as well. From a great performance by Penta overall to win against Envy. I know Duncan said, and he's right, they're not in the best form, but they've beaten Envy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's confidence for a team like Penta. Like you said, they've only had 2 offline events since then. I actually like a couple things he said in the interview. One of them kind of touched on where you were with our last segment, saying if they're not in the domestic scene anymore, they're obviously focused on just winning.
Yep.
You can't take pride in saying, "Oh, well, we're the best Finnish team." Okay,
Yeah.
Great. What does that accomplish?
Yeah.
And I think NA's. I'm going to call them out. Really guilty of that. A lot of NA teams go, "Well, we're the best NA team now. We're on top of the world." Well, no, you're not. You're still shit, if I'm completely honest these days. But the problem is in NA, the difference is you also, if you're the best in NA, you're going to get paid. If you're the best in Finland, you're still not really a full-time player. You're still in the semi-pro. So for them being collectively trying to win, that's going to be better for all of their careers in so many ways. And we touched on that before. The other thing I really like, too, is that he identified Happy was low. And because the player that wasn't peaking was the one he was facing, obviously that means he doesn't have the confidence to take the duel. He instantly capitalized. That's really smart. That adds to that.
I mean,
Really,
being the best
really
NA team is kind of like being the prettiest Denny's waitress, Who cares? Who cares?
Fair enough.
And on that note, we'll move on as we have a break here, as the players are just going to get themselves ready for our second semi-final in the upper brackets. Big versus Dig, and it's coming up next.
Coming up next, Dignitas versus Big.
E-gaming bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2, make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO, guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quest for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Oh no. Punch. Oh, crap.
can see you. Oh, oh. Yes, I can see you.
If I
A very warm welcome back to the PGL Europe Minor Championships 2017. Just 5 more matches to go here over the next 2 days. 2 left today, both best of 3s, and then the next one is Dignitas versus Big for a place in the offline finals. The offline qualifier leading to the Krakow Major. Just one more step in front of it. It's been a long road for both of these teams as well. We've got a change up on the desk. Henry G has come back to join us. Henry, welcome back.
Good afternoon. How's it going?
Yeah, all good. You?
Excited to have a big dig in front of you?
As always, yes, I am. Very good,
Okay,
Duncan.
well,
I
see
thought
how
we
they
said
perform.
we said we'll keep it friendly
I know.
today.
Yeah, we
What
are.
happened?
Okay.
That is friendly.
Is it very friendly?
Not that
guys?
there's
It's
anything
too
wrong with that. Yeah.
No, possibly too. Nothing wrong with it.
Let's start with talking about Big. Duncan,
gosh.
they've been.
Yeah.
I was going to say indifferent, but kind of okay since they came around at the start of January. Did well at Leipzig, won the iGame Winter Invite. Not big pool of talent there to beat, and then obviously they've been good in Germany in the ESL Meisterschaft as well. So they've got some form. We know about the players in the team. They've got a veteran leader in Godby. They've got all the right ingredients, it seems, to be a major team. But can they get there?
I think they can. Like, they've actually looked like the best team in this tournament so far. They kind of cruised in some of the games they played, I thought. I mean, Tabson basically just took care of everyone. It felt like in all the games they played. Kiev, etc., didn't have to do that much. Nexus kind of just chilled out, you know. The thing with this team is, like, first and foremost, when you consider some of these players were in NRG before over in NA, they're clearly a better team than that was. You know, that was a very flawed team. He only had success online. The only thing is, they've been a bit up and down. Like, they can clearly play some of the better teams close, but then they can also, like, if you saw Copenhagen Games, they didn't even come close to winning the tournament. And, you know, it was like the 5th best Danish teams, etc., going to the final. So they can be a bit bizarre in that sense. And the problem, I feel like, to me, their major flaw, it's kind of a less extreme version of what LDLC have, where they have the good in-game leader and they have tactics, they have players who have played together, but they really need their firepower. I mean, at least they've got firepower that they can identify, but it has to be Tabson and Nex. Like, they are the real stars of this team, you know. And yeah, Tabson's playing very well at the moment, but it's not like they're blowing everyone away with that. So I kind of feel like I think they're good enough. They've got the quality to get out of this part of the minor. But once they get to the qualifier, I think they're going to be one of the teams that's going to find it tough against those elite level teams.
I agree. I feel like the blessing and the curse they've got right now is Godby, great in-game leader, right? But it seems they focus too much on the really kind of strange strategies. So we see lots of different variations of what the usual teams are doing at the top end of the scene. They throw in lots of fakes and lots of strange smokes and stuff, which to me are a little bit too obvious when I see it. I watch it, and there's a reason the top teams don't do these strategies, and it's okay to watch, and it can be quite interesting at times at this level. I just don't think if they do make it somehow to the major, they won't find much success with that. That's the one kind of trouble I have with this team, I have to say.
In terms of your old team, Dignitas.
Oh, yeah.
once upon a time, obviously.
Rolling back the years.
I am
there,
rolling
yeah.
back the years for you here. This lineup is very interesting, if not for the reason that for the first time, some of these players are playing in English. I know that some of them have. Jacob before, obviously, has played in a team where they've all spoken English, but it's new to Rubinho, for instance, who is also an in-game leader for the first time. It's such a challenge when you look at it. And so you go, well, all right, let's cut them a bit of slack, because they did struggle Open Qualifier 1. They struggled badly Open Qualifier 2, lost to like a Tier 6 team in the second round. It was absurd that they lost that match. Then finally got through the Open Qualifier 3. Didn't look great in the closed qualifier either. And to be fair, haven't looked brilliant here in the minor either. And yet somehow, here they are on the verge of a place in the offline final. So they're doing something right.
They are, but at the same time, this is a very experienced lineup. If you look at the big names available to them, you have to remember that this is a minor. You would expect these names just alone to be able to carry themselves through and have good performances. They're not going to have the best strategies or the deepest map pool, but they are going to have the names that can step up. We have seen, like you said, Rubinho stepping into the in-game leader position for the first time. That can bring some sort of honeymoon period as well. Like, he's not jaded by it yet. He hasn't seen the real frustrations of the big tournaments as to what can go wrong.
It's true.
So they're going to be quite forgiving of him in some scenarios as well. It's nice to see the roles coming together. I think that was the sentiment we took away from the first showing of them, right? It seems like everyone's quite established. We've got the young guy coming in as well, and Fox with that kind of AWP main role for once as well. He used to be this Portuguese superstar of the AWP, and they're allowing him to be that once again. And at this tournament, at least, it's looking great. How long that will last, I'm not so sure. Like we said, honeymoon period for a lot of these sort of teams, the international squads, they can have one good event, then dramatically drop off, and then they need to readjust. We saw that in FaZe many times. Everyone thinks like FaZe now, they feel like, oh, it's an amazing team, right? If you think back to that project even 2 years ago when they first appeared at DreamHack Valencia, it wasn't very good at all. No. So it can significantly drop off.
Absolutely. Let's bring in the map veto. Duncan, what are you expecting here?
I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go with this one, because Dignitas as a team, they've shown us a lot in this tournament, actually. Like, I mean, obviously they won that match on Train where LDLC, it was crazy from the LDLC side to pick it. It wasn't from the Dig side, actually. Dig hadn't really shown us anything on it. So Dignitas is able, because they're playing Big, to go ahead and get their best map, which is Mirage, because it's a very strong map for the guys from Big as well. Then we've got Inferno in there for the guys from Big. Like, that's not a bad map for Dignitas, certainly not their best. So you have to feel like if you're Big, you're loving the first two maps already. Really good chance. And then the third map being Cash. These are literally the three best maps of Big. So the problem that Dignitas has is, first of all, map pool, they have to play the opponent's strong maps. So you've got a lot of opportunities to win here. And then secondly, I just feel like stylistically, this is a bad mismatch, I feel. Because what I saw LDLC exploiting Dignitas yesterday was that if you had good tactics and you could execute them, first of all, you get into sites. Forget that even if they have better fraggers, you get into the sites. Yep. And in fact, sometimes the reaction from Dignitas was play even more passive. So I think if anything, Big is an upgraded firepower version of LDLC in that sense. So I feel like with the maps as well, this could be a very vulnerable Dignitas, I feel.
Yeah, very good points there. Actually, it's really true. If you went to LDLC, the problem is they don't have the superstars. We do have stars available in the big lineup. Tabson, right? I think he seems ready enough in terms of individual skill-wise to actually be playing maybe in Tier 1. He's been unbelievable in some games. So he'll be stepping up this game, and I think Duncan's right. The tactics available, too big at this point. This is going to be a really rough veto. Like it always was going to be for Dignitas generally. They're big have been a team for a while now. Since, I think it's about the beginning of the year they started this project.
Yep.
And Dignitas, barely 2 months, and that's like just going for online qualifiers as well. It's not like they've had lots of experience here. So we saw the lack of strategies they had yesterday, and as I mentioned before, they'll be relying basically on some of the big names. Jacob, for me, hasn't had the best tournament. Fox has looked really good as well. Rubino's had some MVP performances. We're looking to them to step up. But yeah, I tend to agree. I do feel like Big have got the advantage here, and this just could be a straight up 2-0, I think.
Okay. What is the strength in the Dignitas lineup that might help them get past this hurdle?
I do think what we've seen in this tournament that we didn't know about them from the online games is the development of Rubino. Like, we saw a few occasions where, yes, he doesn't have a deep playbook yet, and they don't really necessarily seem to have 100% figured out all the roles. They've got the basics there. He did make some good adaptations, like he'd make a mid-round call, or because he's such a smart player himself, I think it was coming from that, it's like what he would have done as a player, you just apply it to the team concept. So I think that can help on the T side, that can get them something. It's just that even his stars, even his big players have been a bit inconsistent. Really only Fox has been consistent. That's the only player who you look to put a big frags, who in general was doing it game to game to game. So I actually feel like that's one area where I can give them the advantage. I'd go ahead and say at the moment with how Kiev plays, he's all right, but he seems a bit neutered online now, so I'll give Fox the heads up on that one.
Yeah, I think that could be the differentiating factor here. I think Kiev he's an okay player. He's certainly not a superstar AWPer. So that could be the fight that really decides it as well. We spoke in the interview yesterday with Jake, and we said, like, how does it come down? Is Fox actually deciding his kind of initial interactions at the beginning of the map? And that is actually happening. So we saw it in that train game as well. Looked very kind of assertive, wants to go find the picks, and he's getting them. Duncan's right. He's probably been the MVP generally overall. I don't think anyone really expected that. I certainly wasn't coming into this tournament. I knew Fox might be AWPing. Didn't expect this kind of play. I thought it'd be more passive, kind of hold the line style AWPing, but it's actually been like surprisingly and pleasantly surprising. I guess.
That's it. Some incredible shots as well. Let's bring in our commentary duo for this one. We've got Matt and Harry in the commentary box. Gents, you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, I think so. I'm more looking forward to see if Dignitas can continue to develop their T sides. Obviously, I think the more time that Rubino has with this team, the better. It's almost like this major's shown up maybe a month early for where they kind of are in their development. But if they can get through this, if they can get one of the 3 teams, then I think they actually could develop into sort of the offline qualifier role quite well. So I want that. I want to see them actually succeed in this case.
All right. Well, good luck, and thanks very much for bringing us game number 2.
Thank you very much. We will do our best. Having said that, though, going against Big, I don't know if this is the game that they'll win because Big looks very structured and have looked impressive as of late.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the issues. Right? I think Dignitas have impressed both you and me. The real issue I'm seeing is that Big are probably the ones that have impressed everyone the most here. And coming into this is probably Dignitas' 3 best maps. But at the same time, it's 2 of Big's best and one that they're incredibly good on. So, I mean, I am probably going to be leading the way of Big, even though a part of me wants Dignitas to win this. But I mean, I want to see them go through to the major qualifier. I'm not sure this is the time for them to do it. I think if we're going to see it happen, it'll have to be in the next game.
Yeah, I mean, the hard thing is, Envy almost don't deserve to go through at this point in time the way that they're playing. So if Dignitas were able to capitalize on that, credit to them. And in all fairness, Envy just didn't show up. So why should they get through? Now, that said, like I say, it's tough for Dignitas to really get behind that in full force, considering the situation. And it is really, in me, Big and Penta that deserve to go through, and the fact that they've worked the hardest as a team for the most amount of time to really develop where they are at this point in time. But Mirage is going to be an interesting one because it gives Fox a bit of room to play. He's been a lot more aggressive this weekend, which is really encouraging to me. But aside from that, we'll see what they can come up with. Kiev, if he can get rolling on the AWP, he's not always the flashiest, but when he's in the zone, can definitely be punishing. And CT side, I think, is a very good spot for him to start.
Yeah, and well, into this one, Dignitas is going to be sending everyone over here towards B. Rubino looking like he's going to take things slowly. And actually, look at this aggression from Tabson, pushing up mid very early. I'm going to get so much information on the back of this. Smoke's now raining in towards B. Next playing it a little bit aggressively. Does have God B here to help out. Takes the peek on in. The flashes rain through, and God B, the first man to find someone, going to dispatch of Croman. Now as the push looks to come on in, Nex and God B have to remain steadfast. They bought so much time for this rotate, and for Dignitas, it's all just falling apart. Tensky and Fox remain. Make that just Fox, and Tabson with a quick triple to round that off.
Yeah. About perfect. Rush down B, old tactic. Hope to catch them off. Hope that no one's going to be inside of the site, and they just absolutely batter them with good aim. Tabson, again, looking very impressive. I'm super encouraged by the way that he's played as of late, and I really actually want to see him get to a much higher tier. Get up to that offline qualifier where we can see more from them.
Yeah, Dignitas this time. Just going to go for Deeks across the board. The Deco. And out in mid, Tabson already able to pick off one. Trying to get more done. Rubino forced back. Doesn't want to re-peek into the beast. And that is Tabson in mid. The only player with the rifle. Holding the long angle. Does make sense. Jake, we're going to be down in low. Is held back by that Molotov. Tensky. Going to meet him as the rest of the guys now head over here towards A.
Kiev and Shadow. Forward stance bomb as well inside of the main position with Coleman waiting to get out from apartments. Going to be re-smoked, which will buy more time for Big. Perfect. No real support for Kiev as of yet. They want to stack up over toward the B site to make sure they're not going to flood out through the apartment. Slow walk in from Rubino. He's going to try and look to catch off Kiev. Molotov goes on top from his teammate, which actually hit him. So now Rubino knows he's underneath. So the Molotov actually causes them problems in a way that they didn't anticipate. As Tabson finds 2 and Nex gets 1. He'll follow that up, and Big will collect the round, but they definitely made it more costly for themselves. They managed to keep the M4 up, which is the important gun out of all of that, but that single tick from a Molotov, definitely costly.
Yeah, for round, I mean, Dignitas only invested in Deagles. They can't be too disappointed. They drop out 3 players. They, as you said, carry that M4 forward, which is a bit of a silver lining, but still, I mean, it's heavy casualties that they sustain. They've had to rebuy up into this round. Gobi looks like he's even going to take a weapon into it, just a P250 with armor up behind it. And as a result of it investing in Deags, Dignitas have a little bit more to play with into this one. Just some more pistols on the board, the armor up for Jacob. And this time they're going to go ahead and send all 5 players over here towards zone.
Keith gets up as well. It's going to catch them off this time. It's better, same position, but more aggressive. No one to give him away. They go faster. It works for him. So now close out the round with Tabson on rotation. Now we get the guns out. Question is with Kiev, I imagine goes straight to the AWP because he's on 7,050, I should be, to be exact. And there it is. So straight onto it, no surprise. Kiev likely goes to mid off this. It seems like the standard positioning to do in the opening round, but expect that to be smoked off quite frequently from Dignitas.
In particular, when they don't have that AWP up on the T side, they're making their way out mid. Tabson actually the one here with Kiev playing in a connector. Smokes are down, but there's a gap in the one in connector, allowing him to peek up over the top. Misses that shot. Now looks to try and fade away. Tabson trying to help out best he can. They've also got Gobi up towards short. Bomb posted up in B. With him is Tensky. Gobi, I mean, he's looking curious as to what mid potentially has in store. Going to be able to peek on out. Nearly finds one through the smoke. Doesn't actually deal any damage. And now they know there's a player pushed up on short. Going to be relying heavily on Kiev to try and help him out. And as that smoke comes in, they're going to have to wrap onto B. 3 players on short, 2 up in apps, and a perfect setup here from Dignitas on this push.
To some extent, yes, but to the other extent, the fact that there's ready for a tradable position on Catwalk, no. Thankfully, they managed to win out the duels. Tensky, already out of apartments, is able to cover off the position toward Checkers. Backdoor at least. Splash goes through to get Kiev. Watch the cross, though. Rubino has to give a secondary flash if he wants to go to the van. Instead, he'll stay inside of the site. It's Tabson that wants to get inside of the back of apartments to rotate back around. The problem is if they don't get the next pick, call the save. You've invested Kiev onto the AWP. You've bought into the round quite significantly. Why bother hurting the economy when you can still bring out guns in the next one? Force up and try and break them down. It's going to be a very tight force considering the reinvestment. So round 2 definitely plays into, or rather, excuse me, round 3 definitely plays into round 4 in the fact that it's going to help Dignitas, but they themselves need to make sure they stay alive, and Tabson's positioned perfectly inside of the apartments to try and capitalize, but runs out of ammo. Eagle won't do. Bomb should get, nope, not quite. Tensky's well enough outside of the doorway, and they lose the op. So good round from Dignitas to close it.
Yeah, that's the all picked up for Fox. He's going to have that to play with. And as they lose all the players that were looking to try and save, reinvesting isn't looking too likely. Probably going to be buying down to around about 2,000. No, actually going to elect to go all out. They buy the AWP up for Kiev. They're going to try and force this one up early on. It's aggressive. It's risky. There is a very high potential reward if they pick it up in the form of that reset onto Dignitas.
AWP for Kiev. Wherever he can with it. Can't find an opening. And back off as well as Lagia is going to go down. Yep, no chance. All it took was one tick. That reaches him. Very slow motion. Just watch the wave wash over him. Down he goes. Tensky's going to take out Kiev as well. That's going to leave just Tabson smoked off. Not much they can do. Again, another call where they might have to save early. Does hit Croman through the smoke, but without a kill confirmed, you won't even know that he's hit him, and therefore they won't have the confidence to really take advantage of the situation. And away they go. Exits is the only goal. Gun for next is the main objective at this point in time.
Yeah, I think a better call there from Big, in all honesty, to take the save early. They're looking like they're going to try and send next in to grab himself a gun. He does fall as a result. And it's looking risky for Taps. Still another player towards top mid, and that is Croman. We'll pick him up. They lose the only rifle they could have potentially saved out of that round. And it kind of came down to maybe overstaying their welcome down there towards Connector. They wanted to get next a gun, and I understand having Taps in there to try and trade out for him. But it just was not meant to be. Dignitas get themselves a second. Rubino going to be investing in the MAC-10. He knows the economic situation on Big is going to be heavily compromised, so he can now look to try and make some cash. and improve the economic situation that much more on Dignitas.
So no stack to go off of this. Looking at down to early inside of the mid window with the scout trying to get a pick. No smoke on it. Croman just hits him with the AK. Take him to take out next in response. Tapson only getting one with the pistol, but a good start at least for P250 as he goes back for more. Catches Croman. Trying to resmoke window from inside of mid after they just got peeked. I'm not really sure I understand the mentality on that one, but fair enough. Fox will get Tabson down. It still gives them a man advantage, but it's not exactly been perfect by any means. And on top of that, Jacob's low enough, it doesn't really matter what weapon they have. He's dead in one hit no matter what.
Yeah, the boost going to be employed, and this could be the equalizer found. No, can't be. Still going to go down. And Kiev now left alone. Spots Fox out in mid. Goes for the peek with the scout. Beheads him. Knows that Jacob is up and over towards short. Has to worry about the potential push in from ladder. Bomb is down. Kiev is very talented with this scout as well. Here's the player rotating in to try and grab the bomb. Spotting it from connector will be smoked back. Jacob still holding the angle from short. Has to be careful. Keep looking away at just the wrong time. Rotating into B is going to be in a great position to catch these guys off guard as now they come in. Misses that shot, and that could have been the difference maker. Molotov looking to try and hold him back. He works his way into the site, but Jacob drops him out. Only 3 HP. That still picks up 2 huge frags there at the end to cement a third for Dignitas.
Yeah, 3 in a row with guns out. Definitely seeing that they're winning duels, same as yesterday. Get the first indication of whether or not they're going to be aggressive again with the guns out in the next round, because it's been 2 force buys where essentially, or force and a save I should say to be completely truthful with you, which has limited Big's economy, and it goes to show just getting those kills early on that it's costly reinvestment to get Kiev in the AWP that early. Flash out from Tapson to try and get a peek into middle, but it's going to be a pretty standard formation. No one's going to get overly aggressive on the window. Catwalk smoke. Fox hasn't gotten to the box yet. Slow and steady, they'll stick in a pack. And it does seem, if we're going to read into it, again, without guns, that mid-control is going to be a large part of Dignitas' game, which does not surprise me at all, given that they want to play the range duels as best as they can.
Big down and connector. Pete going to come out from Taps, and he will get punished for that one. And actually got to be able to get one back in return. That's bomb dropped in connector. This could be a bit of a turning point here. Got beat. Going to fall to Croman on that peak. The 2 players down in connector both fall. And now it's all on next. 1v4 making his way up short. Has to be careful because Fox is here, and as he rattles shots out, actually finds one nearly a second, but Croman thankfully does pick that up at range with the AK. Dignitas looking fairly convincing right now, picking up all 4 rifle rounds.
Well, that time actually it was a save, so they were on the pistols. They've only really had 1 full buy. They picked up an AK or a scout and an AWP on round number 5 when they tried to rebuy into it after losing Kiev in the first round. I was surprised they were able to get the AWP over to him, but this time it is the full gun. Kiev won't go to the window right away this time. Didn't have a spawn. Goes toward A instead. Countered last time without getting a pick, so it's Rubino that he wants to find at a main. Rubino's not going to be down below just yet, holding the angle, and it's a lot more passive from Dignitas, knowing that the guns are out. They're going to try and send Fox instead on the AWP to open up the B site if he can.
Going to be pushing on through on his own. That smoke pushes him back, and actually kind of tell us his effect. Dignitas now they look a little bit less incentivized to try anything out towards B, swapping out Fox for Tensky. As he now takes up position, Fox going to try and help crack open mid. Tabson and connector. The player to keep an eye on for Big in this scenario as they come on out. Wouldn't surprise me if he tried to take the peek, but doesn't even see anyone. Fox drops him out on the shoulder peak. And advantage taken here for Dignitas. Kiev tries to trade things back. He's missed a couple of key shots now, and that could have been a turning point once more. It's now Dignitas rerouting back over towards ramp, trying to make their way out towards A. And Legia and Kiev, the 2 players here to try and hold this one down.
Legia top ladder is going to hold off the wide angle. Kiev's been pushed off, and they check it. Jacob takes him out. Good shot from Kiev. Has the angle to control, but they're too close. Gets aggressive with no smoke down, and now it's all Dignitas on the way through. Better approach to the round from them is slow it off and get the first pick, and then really take advantage of the fact that no one's trying to get information or ascertain any map control on the big side. Very passive, very slow from Dignitas to figure it out. Much better than what they were doing yesterday in that sense, because yesterday it really was all-out brawls, all-out duels. This time it's a little more thought out.
No money left for Big here. Looks like they're probably going to try and force buy down what they can, about $2,000. Could get them a pretty nice kind of collection of utility armor and pistols as well across the board. But I mean, ultimately, everything's been going the way of Dignitas right now. I mean, we said how we really only saw one full buy coming from Big. That one was their shot at it once again, and Dignitas were in full control. They didn't even lose a single player, so it looked phenomenal from them. Oh wait, did they lose one? Yeah,
they lost one. But
Okay.
that's still fine, because they've built the economy up at this point in time. The round before that, they only lost 2, so Kroman's got 94, 72 for Tensky, Rubino on 5. They're all good, Harry. Now they'll push Kiev up, but this time pistol only. Try and catch them off. It's worked. Flash over as well. He nearly gets away with more than that. But Fox is there behind the box. Little did he know. Jacob's now going to try and take the same angle, but Fox with the AWP wins out again. Twice for him, and it's all on to the PM.
Yeah, life expectancy extremely short, though, if you are a big player right now. As Dignitas going to pick themselves up a 6th over on the T side of Mirage. This is their map pick, let's not forget. And you can kind of see why. I mean, I'd say they've looked in full control in every single round, bar the pistol, and then, you know, the 2 rounds that followed. As a big, I mean, it was all on their plate to try and carry those ones through. The buy coming in once again from Big over on this CT side. Kiev going to have the AWP, not taking it to middle once again. Instead, turning his attention over here to ramp. 4 players for Dignitas going to reside in this area, and Kiev, the man who can put a stop to all this madness once and for all, will be tagged on down to 15 HP, trying to hold off CT and this A bomb site, buying time for the rotates to come in. Leggy is going to be the first man on the scene as the rest of the players now making their way into the site. Taps and the first to fall from Rubino flanking in on mid. Bomb goes down, and 2 players, actually going to be denied by God B on that chance peek over the top. Doesn't get punished for it, and now Jacob, the man trying to toss, would pick that bomb back up. Going to be finding this difficult. Smoke starts to dissipate. Suddenly in the danger zone as God B picks him up, no problem. Rubino and Fox all that remain, and Fox, the only player within the site, has a tall order ahead of him.
Good play, God B, to identify the fact that he can get over top. Smoke's gone. Getting some kills toward A main before they can execute, before they're into the site comfortably. Just being assertive before the smokes from the big side. They've got the bomb locked down. They'll convert this round. They need to keep everyone alive, though. They're all on 3 digits of money, so Kiev, even though he has an AWP, has to concede the fact that he can't really peek in this. So sit back, hold the angle from CT, make sure he can't cross to the bomb. That's what he's going to do. It's up to Gabi and Legia to figure out where Rubino is, and he's definitely shown face this time. They peek out. Good play. Legia does it, so discipline to close it, bring it back. Their first round since winning the 3 after the pistol ends a 6th-round spread from Dignitas. There's still plenty of money. In fact, another round after this, in which Dignitas will be able to buy. So by the time Big even whittled down the economy, they could be up to a 3-round bonus. You got a bomb plant on that, you just keep going. Money's very good for Dignitas in that sense.
Dignitas once again over towards mid. This time not so fast out over at ramp. Instead, it's going to be just shooting in through middle. Smoke is down to cover them off from window. Tabson trying to spot what he can over in Connector, and Kroman sneaks on by. Is allowed to cross to down beneath the window. Doesn't have anyone to boost up. Instead, just going to be holding the angle. 3 players for Dignitas over in mid. Mid right now, the only player who can actually do anything about that is Tabson. They'll be smoked off. Dignitas turn their attention up towards short now. They could split in towards B, and that looks to be the decision that has been made.
Tabson's going to get underneath the BE stairs. It's Godby that works into the corner, but Jacob gets him through the smoke. No one able to respond. No flashes out from Nets. He's surrounded. He has to go both directions, and he will be found by Jacob. Down to 39 HP, though he is still alive and well on the site with the bomb being planted. Both other players locked off toward Checker. Kiev on the AWP facing a absolutely massive reset for them, because Kiev's got $3,000 if he saves the AWP. They won't be too bad off in terms of building into the round after the next, but they're almost in double eco territory at this point in time, because they're about to get 1,900 here. If they force even the littlest bit, they won't be able to buy the round after. So this is going to be very, very grim for Big. Great start to the game from Dignitas. There we go.
Yeah,
Let's combine them both. We got Skadoodle Okay? Skadoodle, and I think we had another mix-up once. Henry would be able to remind me. But they can play for Dignitas. We'll just combine everything. I'm a genius. 76ers, call me. I got another investment for you.
There you go, phenomenal stuff. Caster, car racer, and investment extraordinaire, apparently.
Yeah, you can't really be successful in three things, so obviously I'm going to make them very broke, but it's fine. Arguably not successful in any of those.
Well, I don't know. Two of three, one of three, somewhere around there. But yeah, speaking of being broke, Big, they're going to fall into that category. They actually elect to force buy up into this round. Dignitas trying to spread out early on, grab map control, trying to maintain it, just playing their default. Don't want to fall prey to this force buy from Big. Tabson trying to spot out Jacob, and actually thinks it's clear. Jacob working on buy, just missing the timing on those jump peaks. Now Kiev with the AWP pop on short. Wants to try and find the equalizer, not going to present itself. In fact, another player just goes running into the waiting gun of Jacob. They give him a second. That man advantage just pulling ahead for Dignitas, and now it's their round to win. Turn their sights over here towards 8. Jacob's still in lower tunnels, haven't been able to deal with him. A thought in their side, the rotate about to come through. Kiev's attention firmly fixated on lowers. Should be able to get the trade, but no, there's no stopping Jacob. He's going to get a third.
Oh, Gobby nearly looked into the corner expecting a flash. And Rubino walks into him. If he was even a few steps behind that, he may have been saved by Nex walking. Rather, excuse me. I think it was Rubino walking in from A main, but Nex going to walk back over from B. Just the SMG. Sad times ahead. As they, again, will only get, and I said excuse me that it was going to be the 1900. Now it will be 1900 this time, so I was one back on that. So they were definitely double eco. I had my math wrong, Harry. Don't do math live on stream.
I know, yeah. I've actually learned that a lot.
Let me just pull out a calculator. 2 plus 2 is 3.5. Divided by 3.141596. Something along those lines.
Yeah, that was... I don't even know what maths that was for.
Yeah, that's not for anything.
Okay, that's just
don't follow along at home.
Okay. It's like our own version of Countdown. There's a maths version of that, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. Is that a British thing?
Yeah, that is actually a very British
references
thing.
To more.
I always forget, yeah.
It's just not a thing.
I don't know. The Canadian version's, I think it's called Uwe. That's it.
Never heard of that either, so...
Well, there you go. Anyway, here we go. Dignitas 4 rounds ahead. Fox charges out. Actually, it's Jake going to be tagged down in mid with the scout, and there's a player rushing up by him next in the smoke with the UMP. Turning back and forth, finding heads in the process. Going to go ahead and take himself too. Tensky's been allowed to sneak out on towards the B-bomb site. Punishes got B just for his existence, really, and now looking to try and rotate on round with the bomb. Tensky has to try and lock this site down. Players already rotating in. Catches Kiev looking the wrong way after he stands in the Molotov for a little too long. Rubino still putting in work as Leggy was up on the flank. It's Nex who can make all the difference here. Takes one, but Rubino, the trade king, goes ahead and gets a second in return. Now it's just Tabson. Does have that stolen AK from mid to try and close out this 1v2. If there's anyone you'd want in this scenario, it's him. Yeah, well, you say that. Not when Tensky has a gun.
He's been consistent. That is one thing I will say about Tensky. I was very critical of him on Inferno about being a little bit too passive on the CT side. The one thing you can say about him is that he's stable, and every team has to have sort of that personality, that role that's willing to sit back. You know, Zipix was doing it on the old Dust 2 style. He's kind of stepped into a more of a clutching role as of late. But he was always kind of the rock that was in position. If someone made a mistake, he'd fill in the gap for TSM days on Dust 2 for their lineup when they had Kijin B in the op, obviously. You get different players in different situations that do that. And if he starts to be utilized correctly by Ramiro, he's the perfect person to do it for this team. I don't want to use the term support role because that's a very operative word, and I think it's a buzzword for a lot of people, especially in CS, but it is sort of that situation. But it's B this time, and again, they're going to double up Cat, which means almost a retake style B when they have to turn back to watch the apartments, and they've already made contact, but yet they will continue to hold on the same position and style they want to do so because they haven't spotted anyone mid. So it's not like they're going to be splitting. They can afford to sit on catwalk. Now they'll get more information as they've had to rotate back over toward A. And Kyiv getting the opening pick is going to divide the offense quite a bit. So this is almost desperate in that they're going to send a lurk from Tensky to try and hold rotations and try and get into the A site.
Yeah, Dignitas just looking disjointed at this point, in this round at least. I'm undecided as to how to approach this. They might be able to go ahead and pick up the bomb, which they will. Rubino going to get tagged in the process. Isn't looking too healthy. Oh, okay, Kyiv's not done just yet. Picking away at the bones of Dignitas. Fox and Tensky all that remain. They learn that Tensky is on the lurk. There's 35 seconds left. Bomb isn't there anymore, and this could feign some rotations out, but not while Kyiv stands firm. He's going to go ahead and get a fourth, looking for the ace. But Tabson steals it away. Can't have anyone ever do better than him.
He's sick.
Yeah.
He's impressed me like crazy as of late. In the relegation matches, he just dominated everyone. It was literally the Tabson show. We could have just watched it on him. What was the event right before relegation? DreamHack Tour? Were they at DreamHack Tour? I think it was. And he was just dominant every single game for them.
No, wait, no, it might have been the Mountain Dew League Land Finals?
Yeah, exactly that. You're right. Yeah, Mountain Dew League Pro Finals, or Premier Finals, World Finals, Global Finals.
Global Challenge.
There it
is.
There you go. Yeah, he was
I was
awesome
there. I should have known.
Tabson's going to get aggressive this time with a nade out, but they've got good pressure on mid without actually relying on window with the aggression that they're putting on catwalk. So they are getting information. Smoke to connector, but none on window this time. Fox trying to get a pick on it instead, but he's playing inside boxes, so he has the shorter angle. But again, it's mid pressure from Dignitas, who have yet to be broken in all of these rounds. So the economy was just so perfect from them throughout. We hit round 15. They have a chance to find 10 rounds, guns on either side, but good play from Tabson. Bob down on top of the catwalk as well, which means they have to commit to going back to it, and they can continue to put pressure on middle to make that more awkward for Dignitas.
And actually Tabson going to go ahead and take the fight to them. Finds the first. Jacob's able to trade that one back, but it's still a 2-for-1 down in mid. Tensky in the meantime. Look at this. This is promising. Goppy going to be here. There's 3 players actually for big inside the B bomb site. So saying it's promising, not really. Tensky's been allowed to sneak on by. That could be the difference maker, but Goppy pouncing on out. Now leaves this all on Jacob. 1v3. Bomb in hand. And they didn't actually spot Next out inside of B, so for all they know, it is just Goppy here alone. Then they would expect a 3-man stack. If Next takes the peak, this could hand the advantage back over. Jacob, no. Okay, gonna go down on that peak. The timing could not have been worse there. He just looks away at the exact wrong second, and that is big to go ahead and win out that last round of the half. 9-6, Dignitas still in the driving seat, but a pistol round it could bring Big back to the equalizer.
Definitely could, but it's T-side. We'll see if they can get things rolling. I'm impressed by Dignitas. I mean, everything went right for them, let's be honest. They get 2 kills that are pretty important. Round 2 forces a bit of reinvestment. Then they get 3 kills, keeps them honest. They go into the first gun round. Kyiv spends all $7,000 to bring out an AWP. And they whittled away at the economy in such a way that they were able to build it up so quickly on their side. It's almost as good as it could have gotten. That half was about as easy as you'd like in terms of how closely contested some of the gun rounds actually were when Big was able to afford them. So they put themselves in a really good position, but as you say, Big can almost pull back with this pistol. It's going to be 2 smokes for them as well with no armor. Smokes for both Legia and Gobby, who are both inside of the B courtyard, and they're going to throw fake smokes out toward A. So they've actually gone for one that lands at the top of the connector all the way through. Lex used to throw that in North America. He's failed it, though. It's landed on top of connector, so they know that had to have come from B. The second one goes to window. It's a pixel smoke. You have to land perfectly. That does. But that also signifies that they're going to be over toward B. So if they've spotted where those smokes come from, this is going to be a rotation from Dignitas. They're a little bit late on it, though. So Fox is on his own in the site, takes down Legia to start it off, but it's got to be quicker than that. If they spotted them at all, they would have had the read as Tabson gets in the site bomb, has a chance to go down. Tensky's going to go for a flank, but they've already lost Jacob.
Yeah, 2v4 in the retake, and Croman is attention fixated on the potential there could be a player in the back line. Tensky trying to do what he can from apps, but it's Croman to finish him off. Goppy instantaneous on the trade, leaving this on Tensky in the 1 versus 3, the trifecta of death, as he looks to try and push on it. Okay.
It's Henry's way.
Yeah, that's fine. Goes out and gets 1. Still got 2 more left to find. Now it's just kind of a line, but doing all they can. Tensky on the way in, gets a bit overzealous, and Tabson to finish him off. The 3K from him, and I have to agree with you there. Dignitas, the signs, the writing was on the wall, and they just neglected the ability to retake earlier.
Yeah, Big was quite lucky with that because that smoke from Gob B, it is the right time to use it. I've seen teams try and utilize it where they smoke the top of connector and then run down in the underpass to come up in middle. And what it does is it forces the player in connector to back off completely so you can get up catwalk and support the mid take, get more likely to get a boost toward window, or it forces them out on the inside of it where they have to engage in a fight. I've always thought that it was good for a fake, and I love the idea and the concept of trying to use it in a pistol round, but missing it, if I look up and I see that smoke coming from mid to go jungle, that smoke only ever comes from A main or B typically. So I would instantly be like, yeah, boys, that's thrown from B courtyard. And yet they were a little bit late on the rotation, so Big gets away with it. Time to capitalize. Go for rifles again. AK as well brought up from Tapson. Good shot from Tensky.
Yeah, there's going to be the man advantage here for Big. Currently trapped over in connector, though, a victim of their own doing, as that smoke only just starting to dissipate. Now looking to try and make their way on back up towards top mid. They've left Next behind. Fox actually going to start pushing up through short. Could spot this out and find them that equalizer. Turn this back into the 3-on-3. It's pivotal that Next doesn't go down here. And actually, this couldn't be more perfect for Big. The players rotating off of mid. Going to turn their attention instead towards B. They only leave Croman here. It's going to effectively be a 1v4 inside the site. And quite frankly, I do not fare Croman's odd too highly. Tensky actually going to rotate background. Looking to take up position in CT. A lot of work to do, Croman. Here's the players rotating in. There's only a couple of 30 seconds left. Trying to hold the angle. Looks on up at the wrong time. Taps no open. And now it's Tensky in CT. Looking to try and prevent this bomb plant. Does find damage. Leggy going to go in for the peak. A hop, skip, and a jump. Gets that kill with the up. Fox from short. Trying to rain death in with the Deeg. Does get himself one. But he's still got a lot of work to do. Bomb planted. He's just going to opt to fall on back and save.
Just trying to see where and what is available. So he's got to save. There's no guns anywhere nearby. They don't really need to chase him down here, but Gobby seems like he wants to sort out exactly where he is. It should just end with him on the Deagle. So another good round for Big to get inside of the site. They lose the SMGs, and that's about it. But Plant going in, Dignitas forcing into this. They'll sit back more patiently in the next. Then Big should, as you say, be able to tie it up really early.
Terrorists win.
Question is, how aggressive do they want to reinvest on Kyiv and Nex? Because they've already got one SMG and the Galil. Yeah, that's the better call. Let Tabson throw over an AK and bring another one out because they can't really afford to go full into the AKs. And if they bring out more SMGs, then they're pretty much forced onto a bonus round without really the economy to get away with it. They'd have to be really efficient in this round or reinvesting it broken right away, which is effectively the problem they had in the first round, was an overinvestment and too much reinvestment early on. So good call to drop that and leave Kyiv on a pistol. Wants to get the op out immediately.
In mid, Big going to have a fairly significant foothold here. 4 players leaving Kyiv over in Palace. He's the player with armor in that CZ. Could go down here. Going to be a little bit costly if he does, but not the end of the world. Everyone else now rotating in through T-Spawn. 4 players here for Dignitas. It's going to be a stack that Big are looking to walk into. Going to leave Legia all the way back by T-Spawn over towards B. Now looking to try and flank around through mid-late. Kyiv to open us up. Tensky goes down. Actually damage being done on the tabs. And Jacob able to find one. Tries to get a little bit more bang for his buck, but does go down in the process. And now it's just Fox. Oh, okay. Goes out and gets one out on a Kyiv. Takes his head clean off. Still trying to make this costly. Only has 20 HP. Rerouting round to CT. Bomb. Going to get planted. It's going to be within the smoke. So
it ultimately doesn't even matter that Fox gets Kyiv because he got 2 kills on the entry and he saved none of the pistols. So he's going to be in a perfect spot to buy out the AWP. That was the goal. Rest of it was pretty straightforward. They pull back aggressively and take over the site against the pistols in straightforward fashion. That's a little more interesting because now Fox is going to get down the second AK. They're not going to be able to get to that. So he actually has hurt them a little bit in the economy in the same way we touched on.
And well, they do manage to get the AWP up on Fox. Good bit of utility as well up on the CT side. Don't have anyone on a kit. Does mean they can't really afford to let that bomb go down. AWP board up for Kyiv, as you pointed out. Made more than enough money to go ahead and invest into that one.
Leggy actually dropped it to him, which is even better as well, because it leaves him on 3950. So even if they were to lose this round, he's going to get the 1400. They could ultimately go Glass Cannon in the next if they wanted to. Not that I would recommend it, because the rest of them wouldn't be able to force, but I've seen stranger things.
Me too. It was
It's going to
a good
leave him in a
series.
good position moving forward, though.
Yeah, Keeve holding the angle over a B. Both the AWP players actually going to tag each other down. Has made Keeve rail on back. Ultimately, probably going to be a little bit worse there for Big in that scenario. They have to give up control of apps and turn their attention instead over towards mid, where they have got 3 players. Tabson pushing on down. Going to start clearing out connected. There's actually these 2 players on A for Dignitas. Jacob in window is smoked off. They're going to be pushing out through connector, looking to try and go for the split. The push comes on in. Got B to find one.
Fox gets 2 back with the AWP. He's been the best on the CT side by a mile for Dignitas, as Rubino's going to get Tabson trying to overcommit to a push to hold off CT. Good news is he gets information for them in the post plant. Tells Next that he's got lots of time to get back toward, and in fact, sandwich, so not even a main. Play a much tighter angle with a Molotov to hold them off. Fox still low in the window, has Keeve getting ever closer with an AWP. He wants to play in connector, but bomb is planted safe side or up toward the double box. So fortunately the kill's coming now, because if it came down to Fox, he'd have to push through. Keeve's going to do all the work himself. It goes 10-9 for Big. I have to criticize the setup. So they get mid-control. You leave Fox inside of the window. No one rotates, therefore, back toward jungle, so they're easily able to walk up connector. And instead of Croman trying to play a passive angle, either on top of ticket booth or back inside of the site, he goes out in the open, behind triple stack, and immediately has nowhere to go. Because as soon as they walk in from A main, he's visible. As soon as they walk in from connector, he's going to back into them, and he just walked into his own crossfire. It was a really poor design by him to be sitting in the open in that case. Even if they're not going to rotate that, at least play an angle so that you can control that situation.
Jacob able to find one. Like, yep. Coming on in to try and help out, and he will do so. Going to be able to trade that out with the UMP. Damage done there for Jacob. Making their way on towards mid now. Are going to be 3 players here. Pushing on through. Keeve with the AWP. Trying to clear these long angles. Noah from Dignitas wanting to try and face with Tensky, who could. Looking on into connector. Going to make the decision to be gone out and pays for that with his life. Keeve picks that one up. Now 2 players inside this B-bomb site. The more stacked of the 2. A lengthy rotate coming in from Croman, and they're desperately trying to boost up Fox, which they will be able to get away with. Trying to play the bait and switch. Rubino makes things costly. Gets himself one. Ain't going to fall. They haven't actually checked the boost, but Fox, maybe firing off too early, is going to go down. Now it's just Croman. 1v3 on the flank. Legia suspects this does turn his attention back. Damage being done, though. Croman has the chance to make this that much more costly, but Legia just falls back into the corner, waits for Next to make his way up on towards Van, and then they have that crossfire set up. Very smart play there from Big to maintain that rifle on Legia.
So double op setup. I was going to say they've got the money to do it, and I want to see something aggressive from Dignitas. This is actually just as good. Double op Mirage. You can split this up, try and get a mid pick. CT spawn. But I wouldn't be surprised if you just say to Fox, go, get somewhere, get aggressive, and find us an early pick. He's actually going to head toward B, and he's going to go to the apartments. I imagine, okay, I take it back, so okay. I thought he was going to go quick and try and push up to get information, because the problem is they're already on the A side. He could actually be in a good position to get that information early and force the rotation back over, but good exchange anyway. Jacob's able to win out inside middle. They still have control of connector with Tensky and Jacob on a crossfire, but no one's inside of the A site. Even though there's a plant, they have to be cautious of the fact that Tabson could strike at any time. Rubino spots him. That's the information gathered, but Tabson, he's able to make this so costly. They lose both players in the crossfire because everyone's looking that direction. And at that point, they sat around a little bit too long inside of connector rather than watching inside of the site to see where Gob would go.
Now it's all Fox. 1v3, trapped in CT. Just looking to try and hold on to the AWP. And I mean, looking into mid there, I was going to say there's no way that Tabson survived this. 2 players in connector, both fixated on that smoke. Even the player up in window, but none of that seems to matter to Tabson. Oh no, Fox loses the AWP as well to Keeve. But I mean, amazing stuff there from Tabson mid. The attention taken off of him as well, which allowed him then to net that first frag out and then focused on the second. Player in connector actually ran out of ammo, which was a bit of a shame. Switching out of the USP does go down, but it's still phenomenal stuff from him. He is just so impressive.
Yeah, Fox losing the AWP at the end, yeah. You can tell he's getting frustrated. He's been alive late so many times, and it's frustrating for him because he's not winning any of these clutches, but they're ultimately not his fault. He's been thrown in the deep in this half so far. Keeve takes out Tensky really early. Back to the pistols again. This is going to be 7 rounds in a row for Big. Dignitas have thrown away a massive gift that they were given by economic and control and winning out most of the gun rounds in the first half.
Into this one. Rubino up close on ramp. Has to be careful because Nex is here. Holding the angle. Players rotating in through T-spawn for Big. Looking like they're going to try and make their way out towards A. Legia left on the lurk. Nex. Looking to try and be this first man in the entry. Has got Gobby there to try and flash him in. And actually, Jacob about to push up in towards Palace. Does net them some ground. Might be able to get this frag on a Tabson, spots him out, but no. Tabson executes the lone Dignitas player. Rubino left within the site to try and hold back the tide of Germans that come funneling his way. Rubino able to get 1, trying to get 2, runs out of ammo with the CZ. Croman, actually decent damage done here by both Fox and Croman. The Lurk player goes down. They've got themselves a little bit to work with, but Keeve looking to try and put this one to bed. Drops him out, leaving this on Fox. Gets the revenge onto Keeve. Now it's just got beat into the one-on-one that never should have been. Fox, we've seen him be frustrated about losing that last clutch, and this time, can't imagine how he's going to be feeling. God beat, peeks over the top of the boxes and finds the head. 13-9 now in favor of Big.
Don't mind Fox going for that. They've got enough money to buy into this round, but this is timeout territory, so they're going to take one. Smart call. They've got to find the first pick. They haven't had any first picks on the CT side. Every time that it looks like, okay, maybe they're doing something right here, they get Fox and double up set up, maybe they can get aggressive, they just aren't doing it. They aren't being assertive. Only time we've seen actually, we haven't seen any pushes. I think back it was Keeve the last time we saw a push when he was on the CT side toward maybe the pistols, so... Yeah, change it up. Get someone in toward Palace. Get someone at least close to A main so they can get a closer read. I'm kind of glad they don't go back to the double up setup, because if you're not going to send one of them to be aggressive, then what's the point in picking it up on Mirage? Especially where there's so many utilities that isolate players. If you don't get picks early and you're going to rotate with an AWP for a retake, that's not going to work. V and Keeve fast enough up toward the kitchen inside of the apartments. Rubino the only one over here. This time they do go a little bit more aggressive in toward Palace and A-Main, which I like, but they still aren't getting much information off of this. Because Tensky and Jacob aren't confident to peek out in middle, which means they can't see if anyone's top. Croman's backed off. Fox is holding at Palace. Thankfully, for whatever reason, they're going to rotate back around, because they themselves can't exactly get a read to what Dignitas is up to. But if they'd hit B at that point, that would have been... I'd call a save immediately from the CTs in that case, because they're not going to get over there and retake back into the situation where they're going to have a post plant potentially with 4 or 5 players alive. Well, run boost, top mid. Bait out any shots. Didn't nail it. I think he clipped the wall on the way by. Did. God be, but they still get mid control, so it's going to be a brawl again to a crossfire inside of connector. Last time they had this crossfire, they lost to inside of A, but they don't have that control this time on the big side. Tensky starts it and they fall off of it. Don't mind that at all, because they'll isolate them entirely to mid.
Yeah, 3 players here for Big. Restricted as a result of losing Keeve. Now wrapping up through short. Rubino alone in B, pushing in towards the site here. The bomb actually wrapped back around as well. Players coming in from apps or with a rotate coming on through, and Rubino raiding on death. The site still has work left to do. Is Jacob now making it through, trying to pull this one back, is able to get himself 1. Keeps that man advantage up. Bomb plant going to be coming in. Next and Tabson within the site. 2 players knocking on their door, with a 3rd making his way up short in the form of Fox. That's the AWP. Could be the difference maker. Pop flash themselves out. Doesn't yield any results just yet. Fox now peeking in from short. Bomb timer ticking away. They want to try and be fast here. And as Fox finds Tabson, now they come crashing on in. Next goes down.
Much better.
Defuse going to come in for Dignitas as they now reach double digits themselves.
Much, much better from Dignitas. Again, there was a chance for a moment they could have attacked B and really foiled the plans, but I like that, again, they got aggressive, they got information, they got Fox inside of Palace. As soon as they isolate them in mid, they get 1 kill, fall off it, don't overcommit to the duels because they've been losing those time and time again on the CT side. Tensky holds window, has to do that, knows they're in middle. If they get up in window at that point in time, they completely cut off any rotations to B. And then Jacob reads that he's the one that has to rotate from CT spawn, goes all the way around. Even though they give up a bomb plant, it's fine. Gives them a little bit more money for the buy-in this time, but so what? Dignitas just needs rounds at this point in time. Play it safe. And Rubino did exactly that in the site to stay alive. This time, though, back to an AWP, a single AWP, but they go through the smoke. That cuts off Croman. The aggression is going to be Fox trying to fire back through smoke on on Catwalk, but he's completely smoked off, and they've got to concede the inner parts of the site, allow the plant. This is going to be a really good post setup. As next gets Tensky, he didn't need to go down. He needed to stay alive in it. Look at the amount of smokes at the top of connector.
Yeah, that nade actually able to find one, though. That's their equalizer. Tabson going to fall from the peek out from Rubino. That was the key to opening this one up. The one player left actually exerting pressure inside the site. Two players now over towards ramp. Smoke goes in. Defuse should be following, but no, for a start, trying to deal with the players on ramp. Got B here as well. Will they suspect the second player being hit? Jacob. Peek has to come in quickly. Got B, just letting the timer tick away. Doesn't hear the defuse, takes the peek on out, but he's sticking it, and Fox, no kit, still gets it, pivots around, and then drops out God B with the AWP. Fantastic stuff there from Dignitas in that retake, and almost feel a little bit bad for God B. Felt like he did somewhat deserve it, but you know, didn't hear that defuse coming in, and it was a full 10 seconds.
I mean, I think he played it well enough in the fact that he was far away, but whether he didn't hear it or not, he almost gave himself a chance. The problem is that he had to stop up for the duel. If he shot into the smoke and killed Fox, that was it, because there was no kit in play. But overall, aside from that interesting moment, which was very situational, look at the start of the round. Again, Dignitas, they give up a site, but they play it as a system. Tensky did go down a little bit early to Nex, but the rest sat back. They all seem to be on the same page. They understand that if they're going to get aggressive in middle, they need to play a little more passive at A. Croman, a little bit caught off by that, but the retake was excellent once more. Everybody working together. Flashes going in. Timing's looking way better than it was at the start of this half. And double-upping up again. It's going to be Fox on the AWP in mid with Tensky holding the connector. The interesting issue with this is that Jacob's still on window. He can actually back off of this. He doesn't need to be there. The only reason he is to make sure that underpass is covered off, so he's putting out utility to do so. I want to see him rotate as soon as, good. This is the right call. He's supported Fox as much as he needs to. Get toward the A site where you're ultimately playing retake unless, for whatever reason, Big just wants to bleed them out and they can try and get more aggressive.
God B. That'll spot the player out in CT. Now the push comes through from Big, looking to try and isolate this site. Smokes actually not down for CT, so they're just going to go ahead and plant in that one solitary smoke on the site, planted for Ramp Tabs, and from behind able to go ahead and find one. Fox does trade that out, eliminates the thorn in their side. God B from within the site doing some damage, turns the man advantage back on its head, and Big looking to be in the driving seat this round. It's coming up Keeve. He gets himself one. The UMP raining death in from Legia, and now it's all Rubino fighting for his life. Big circling around him like vultures to a corpse, and that is them one round away from match point. A massive performance from Keeve and Tabson right now.
Big kill from Gabi to take out Fox on the retake as well, because that limited them. They didn't have any control of anywhere other than CT. And that breaks the economy back down after only 2 rounds, both of which came to defuses. So passive retake doesn't work on A. They lose the exchanges despite having everyone still up from middle, and a rotate from Jacob, which looked favorable. But a very good execution from Big. Get the bomb down early. Already had the positions locked off. And they had so much smoke out as well. They still had 2 smokes to use on jungle, which they did after the plant. Pistol's aggressive at A main, but therefore no one inside of mid. So Tabson and Gabi are going to work up together in that position. And they'll play this slow. They'll try and figure out exactly where they are, figure out exactly what the economic situation is, and pull them apart one by one. Tabson, make sure no one's pushed into the underpass.
This aggression from Fox, something that could lead to this B site falling down, as he is here alone, very far forward. He falls, no one could possibly dream about trading that out. Especially as Big now turn their attention to pushing up short. This B-bomb site looking like it could go the way of Big. Fox has to come up huge. The Molotov's trying to burn him out. Gets a little bit hot under the collar, and in the meantime, Big, they've actually snuck up in towards Connector. The players in the site, Chrome are going to go down. The rest all rotated out of position. Jacob could be the linchpin, though. Over towards Connector. Rubino doing some work with the CZ. Peeking out, takes a second. He's not done just yet. Stylishly flicking back and forth. Legia trying to trade things back, but he's still a huge threat to these guys. He's going to go ahead and take a third. Finally the nade to finish him off, but it will be a 2-on-2 on the back of a fantastic play from Rubino. Jacob within the site, spots out Tabs and taps away. Bomb drop down in the open, and Jacob to finish things off. The CZ reigns supreme as Dignitas now with a 12.
What a round from Rubino. To hold that off and get all of those kills, everyone funnels that direction, and the damage done as a result of it, I absolutely did not expect Jacob. You were right. In a gun round, if he's in toward T-spawn and they're going to give up A, they're not going to expect him to be on ramp.
Right.
But he only has the pistol, and everyone was in good health. They were running in toward it. Rubino rips them apart, and then Jacob's perfect. At that point, it's round done. Tensky knew it as well, because he goes back to watch vent, so if they go back toward B, they have to go through mid. Okay, great. At that point, you play a retake, but they had nowhere to go. They walk directly in, and Jacob peeks out, picks them both off. That was really well done. Rubino, he's a bit of a hero right now, because he's given them a fighting chance, and the money has chiseled away. Because Big was one round from being broken. Dignitas missed the chance. Winning that round changes everything. They pulled over the op as well into Fox for free, which they would not have afforded otherwise. So tactical call from Big this time.
Incredibly back and forth right now. Incredibly close as well. The buy, or partial buy at least, has come in from Big. They got the Catalyst rifle, and already that's down. Fox to open things up, dropped over in mid, no way of retrieving it. Instead, now going to turn their attention towards B. Fox is to help his teammate out within the site, and he will turn his attention round, focusing on him with the AWP. Bomb dropped in towards B, and that's it. It's all said and done.
You knew that was going to happen eventually, especially on pistols. God, B just pushes through the cat smoke. Wishful thinking, but Fox has been playing catwalk pretty much every round for the last 6, especially when he has the AWP. And he easily catches him off, then he's perfectly positioned to hold off on apartments. So pretty straightforward round. Big not able to really do anything with pistols, but now they're buy up. They're still not in a good position. It's going to be SMGs, AK-47s going into what will be a 3rd round loss bonus with no bomb plant. They're going to be in a world of trouble and could easily end up playing for overtime by the time they're going to have a full buy again.
That's a worrying prospect for Big Dignitas. Have the AWP on Fox, and it's going to be playing over towards short. Run boost in mid. No one there to actually see the spectacle that was that run boost, but we know it happened. God B. Close to connector. Going to turn his attention over towards Rubino.
Oh, this is... So Tabs, I thought they were going to go for window boost. If they go window boost, they're actually in a perfect spot this time with the double up onto ladder. It allows Fox to back off, watch inside the B site. They're going to rifle it off instead and try and contain them, but they can't lose the duels. They've done that before to Tabs and him down to Jacob. He's got to get out of there. They're low on HP. They know he's there. Or do they? They go immediately by him? Oh, watch. If he pushes through at this point, it's going to be perfect. The back exposed. Somehow Jacob gets caught. That should have been a kill all month. And Legia is able to turn around and find him. So this is a lifeline.
I mean, really, they have to save the AWP in this scenario. You can look at it and, you know, Fox does damage. There is no money for Big. So, I mean, even buying into the next round is a little bit difficult if they lose one more player. But the extra money on Legia kind of compensates for that. If he doesn't save the AWP, then they could get one, but it would mean sacrificing a buy up on one of the other players. So it would be less firepower, less utility into that last round of the half. You'd also see Croman left with no armor. Would be a huge problem, so Fox has to hold on to it. And Big, they don't want to risk going hunting for the reasons I said. If he finds a couple and still holds on to the AWP, that would be terrible for them. Big going to arrive at map point on the map pick of Dignitas. 15-13. It has been a struggle, but they are the first team there. One round now between them and winning out this first map.
So massive. Dignitas, yeah, undoubtedly timeout call. Jacob got so lucky they walked by him in that smoke, doubling up, baits off his teammate, and then Jacob snaps around and nails him with the UMP. So Fox has the AWP again. So too will Kiev. They've got excellent utility, so everything about that mention we made of economy gone based on the last, and it's overtime play for Dignitas. They're going to be gutted if they lose this as well, especially because it took them so long to adjust on the CT side to start to control and dictate the pace. 7 rounds in a row they gave up. Fox's adjustment as well from originally starting out toward the A site where he was getting nothing and window being locked off to go to B has been better, but this time he is going to go back toward A. Better spawn for it. And I think, yeah, he's going to go Palace. So they'll get aggressive on mid. Fox Fox actually wants to hold A main to make sure they don't rush in, which is a reasonable call considering, but 3 players in mid. This is going to be a face-off immediately jumping through. Croman's got the first angle, but he's down below. Tensky's got to hit the shot above. Manages to do so. Fox actually chimes in, so all 4 of them in mid. It's one way to shut down what Big has been going for, but they'll retake onto B with 2 players only to shut them down as Next plants bomb.
Keeve holding short, misses that first shot. That could have been a real gap closer. Players for Dignitas rotating around. Smoke does go down. Buys precious time here for Big. Keeping Dignitas on their toes, keeping them on the clock. One player rotating in through shop and actually scopes her. Next jumps for no apparent reason, misses that shot, and now things get bad. Keeve able to find one. Still lots of work left to do, and Tensky could be the difference maker coming in from shop. Keeve! He's on 3, but finally Tensky deals with it.
Just one at a time. There's no need for that. That makes it so much closer than it has to be. But Dignitas pick up the round, an all-important round. So they'll get the defuse from Tensky, and they play all 30 rounds in map 1. Keeve with 3 kills, though. Should not have happened. There was no need. They've been actually pretty good on the retakes in most cases. They've been quite disciplined, but guns ablaze yet again. SMG's bought out. Keeve goes immediately back onto the AWP for obvious reasons. Next limited to only a Tech 9. It's both teams roping together whatever they can with the money left over. So a proper CSGO brawl. Every gun viable. All the OP weapons, Tech 9s, UMPs. Starts off with Jacob in for one, down on the other. Croman this time does win out on the A site, but it's traded back, thankfully. Croman's going to step up. Finally, he gets kills by being aggressive in the mid part of the site. He's been caught out a few times this round. All important. He's going to be successful.
Yeah, got beat. Next man to fall. It all falls onto the shoulders of Keeve. Got himself a 3K in the previous, has to do it yet again, and this time burning in the fire and flames. Overtime secured for Dignitas. As they go ahead and win out that last round, we will be seeing OT on the first map. Incredibly close affair. I mean, right now, Dignitas, they're looking good. I think Big have shown a formidable performance as well. It's Legia who's kind of falling a little bit silent and is proving to be someone, not kind of saying he's holding them back, but he's definitely not pulling his own weight when you look at kind of everyone else.
Interesting lack of utility certainly cost them in the last, but immediately into overtime. We go back onto similar weapons. AWP aside, no one going double off in overtime. Didn't work for Dignitas when they used it anyway, so no surprises. A Molotov goes down early, and they're playing this double up position on connector again as Fox has Catwalk covered off, but Rubino's got to get over to the van because they have no information as to what's going on in B apartment, so a late smoke's going to try and slow them down. Or Molotov, rather.
Trying to secure mid. Fox is there on short. Legia will be dropped. No attempt at refragging that. Now Fox turns his attention back over here towards Apps. Here's players up in there. Keep scoping in and out. Bomb is going to be on the back of Next. Has to watch out because got beat. Pushing up through short. It's going to go unchecked for the time being. Players really should be able to cover this one. And the remaining 2 big guys turn their attention on the back round, looking to try and make their way out through mid, pushing in towards connector. It's going to be Tapson. And Godby. Tapson's already been dropped out. Tensky wants to pick that up, tries to get more work done. Godby trades it out, but then it's going to fall to Rubino immediately up on short. Big 2v4 off on Keeve. Rifle for Nex. Trying to hit A.
We slowed down in their attempt by Flames late. That'll cut off Keeve, who has the AWP. He wants the better angle from Palace. Flash over, thrown to the corner. Nex is able to spot it. They have to watch the op now. Keeve's on 11, but Jacob's ready for the counter peek from Nex. Good read. And Keeve's got to save the AWP. MR3, 10K. He's down to 3,100, so he'll sit back and make sure no one's going to push onto him. They could have easily done, but they won't. Time gone. Oh, even worse. He goes down now. Don't die. He's got to stay alive. Gone. No money. Overtime. That's a big issue. 31-50 for Keeve. They've lost the op. They've lost the first round. Big win from Dignitas. And that round actually started, not only did they get the first pick from Fox, who again on catwalk's able to open it up. A really, really good reset from their positioning as soon as they did. Jacob goes off of middle. They were doubling up on connector again in case Fox couldn't find the pick. Immediately rotates back into B, gives Rubino the support to shut them down. Tensky stays to watch connector, and Fox is in a position to swing. It's really, really good and dynamic from Dignitas. And Big could not find any way through.
And as a result, losing the AWP on Kiev there, it's had to have been dropped over. They can afford to buy up into this one, but winning this round out now is pivotal. And even then, I mean, they have to try and keep a couple of players alive. They can't afford to lose the AWP, for example. We'll be able to get one